Hi, I want to talk about what it takes to transform an intimate relationship. And first, before we talk about what it takes to transform an intimate relationship, is I want to talk about one of the biggest downfalls, a big pit that a lot of people fall into, and I sure fell into myself. And that is that it takes two to tango. It takes two people to transform a relationship. And I really struggle with this. Maybe you're struggling with this, and if you're not, then wonderful. And I'm not everyone struggles with the same things. But for those that struggle with this, is I've been very self-sufficient most of my life. I've been very like I've considered myself a fairly responsible human being. But now I married someone, and we're in an intimate relationship. We're entangled. Our lives are one, right? Like we do everything together. Like everything she does, it impacts me, and everything that I do impacts her. And first of all, you have to admit that to yourself, that everything you do impacts your partner. So that's hard to admit, because we think we're um, it's just going to be a little bit maybe contradictory, but all truth is contradictory to itself, because we're dealing with duality um, of life. So, if that's the case, if I'm saying that that's a pit that you can fall into, what do I mean by that? So, I get in this relationship, and I'm like, I am doing everything that I know how to do to the best of my ability, and I fully understand that I don't have an impact on another person. They are their own individual person. I cannot force them to be any other way than the way they are, and I'm willing to love them as they are. But if the two of us will come together to do something, like we need, like, if we're gonna come together to make dinner, we need one person to be cooperative, so for that dinner to be good. Just to use a very simple example, like if the two of us are making dinner and one person is throwing a tantrum, and it's doing whatever they want, and they're whatever, they're angry, or they're not talking to you, or they're cooking a different meal than you are, it's not going to be a very successful meal, right? So I was really stuck in this. Like I was like, how do, like I and the reason this is a big down a big pit that one can fall into is because it's so easy to end up blaming your partner, because you're like, okay, I'm showing up, I'm here, I'm making dinner, like and she or he, whatever your partner is, they're not cooperating. So it's out of my control. I cannot control them. It's there's nothing I can do to make them do this thing. And then I get frustrated and get resentful, and I'm like, because of you, this dinner sucks now. Because I'm here, I'm trying, I'm giving my best, I'm showing up, I'm like fully devoted to this dinner, and you're shitting on it. So you're a bad tango partner. And that's the very reason why it's a down it's a pit that you can fall into, and it's so it's a trap, right? The trap, because you don't see it, because you're like, okay, I'm showing up, I'm here, I'm from my heart, I want to make a beautiful dinner for us. I'm like, I've went grocery shopping, I got all the stuff, I'm here, like I'm like, I love you, I love making dinner with you, I'm here, and here you are, angry, resentful, whatever they are, they're not contributing. So uh, you're like, really, with the most genuine it could possibly be, you want to make this dinner, and then they're not cooperating, so you blame them. So this is where it's it's hidden, it's a trap, right? Trap is something you didn't see and you fell into it. So And what I'm trying to propose to you is that it takes one person to transform a relationship. And you don't need the other person, you don't need the other person to do anything. And so let's explore what I mean by that. So, what I mean by that, that can only happen, first of all, if you take that you and like it would take us of understanding the depth of the intimacy that an intimate relationship is. So it's a relationship like no any other relationship. You're more, I don't like this word, but like you're more entangled. Like you would see these hands were separate and now they become these, marriage. It's a place, an intimate relationship on this level. It might be dating someone casual, but I'm talking about that level of intimacy where you're entangled with this person, where your lives are woven is into one life. And the moment you understand that that's the game you sign up to play, that means when they hurt, you hurt. When you hurt, they hurt. When something is when something's happening to them, it's happening to you. And you have to understand that. So in the case of the dinner, if you understand that that's the intimacy, you see how the scenario I described is very separate. You want to have dinner and you want to make dinner and you have best of intentions to make dinner, but the other half of you doesn't want that. So there's a conflict within yourself. Like you have to look at it this, your other half is in conflict with this half. So this half's pulling towards dinner and this part's pulling towards something else. So if you understand that, and you understand it takes one to tango because this person is a part of me now. And you're like, oh, hi, beloved. I was here trying to make dinner and I really want to make dinner, but it seems like something's happening for you. I don't care about the dinner. What I care about is what's happening with you. I'm here with you. You come and you join them to their experience and you find out like what's happening. What do you need right now? Oh, you don't want to make dinner? Who cares? And we're not making dinner. Oh, what do you want? Oh, you want to fast tonight? Oh, you want to go out tonight? Oh, you want me to do the dinner and you don't want to contribute tonight? Okay, or like, oh, you don't like what we're making? You wanted something else? Oh, you upset about the thing I said this morning? Oh, you're hurt because something else happened that has nothing to do with me? Like, in, oh, or whatever. Like, you drop your agenda of wanting to make dinner and you connect to yourself again. But you have to look at that person as a part of you. And that's the tricky part. That's where I got so stuck personally because I've done all this transformational work. Even is partially what I'm sharing here with you guys. And I would say often that the only place you can experience life is within yourself, and everything outside of yourself is just a reflection. But if you take that actually on a deeper level, of everything outside of you as a reflection, is everything outside of you is you, because you're projecting it. When you close your eyes, it all disappears. You open your eyes, and boom, is there. So it is you. Everyone's you. But the place you're gonna feel it the most intimately, where the feedback is instantaneous, is your intimate partner. So you poking at them is poking at yourself. You're not loving them, considering them, is you're not loving and considering yourself. All marriages are, when you get married, right, whatever religion or whatever ceremony you had, there's a form where people get united. We give each other rings, and the rings is a circle that it unites, or people. There's very different tradition in different cultures, and there's all some kind of binding that's happening. They get wrapped in something. People wrap, some cultures wrap their hands together. Some people wrap the two bodies together. It's uniting, and it's always the message is from now on, there is two. Those two are one. That's always the intention. And I think that's missing in our culture where we don't realize that. And then I have fallen that down because of almost because of all the transformational work I've done, knowing that everyone's responsible for their life. And because of all the transformational work I've done, I was like, I can never change anyone outside of myself. I can never do anything, and I would never want to try to change anyone outside of myself. And if I want her, like, all I can do is accept her as she is. But I was looking at her as a separate from me, right? Like, she's a separate individual, fully empowered, fully capable. Like, she's her own autonomous, independent, sovereign human being. And if she wants to throw a temper tantrum during dinner, that is on her. And I'm gonna do whatever I can to make this dinner the best I can, even though she's throwing a tantrum. I can even accept and love that she's throwing a tantrum, but I'm here making dinner, and whatever she's done making a tantrum, then she can join me or not, and she's free to do that. I thought it was very enlightened way of looking at the situation, and I was very righteous about looking at the situation in that way. I felt very like this is a rightful way to look at the situation. Guess what happened? It only made it worse. And I'm not giving an actual example that I have in my head right now. Maybe I can think of one, but this is a made-up scenario. But a version of that made-up scenario has played out in my relationship many times, and I witnessed it play in other people's relationship all the time. And I work with people, and I work with couples, and I say, but but I try, but I'm here, but I'm doing, and he's this way, and she's this way, and like, only if she did this, or only if he did this, and like, all the attention is out there on them. And again, this is fine if all the attention is out there on them, if you looked at them as part of yourself. Like, oh, that part of me out there is hurting. Oh, that part of me out there is being an asshole to me. That part of me is hurting me. Right? Like, how often do you have inner conflict within yourself? How often do you do things that are bad for you? Maybe you've done drugs, maybe you've done alcohol, maybe you've whatever it is, doesn't matter. You could just stay late to and you knew you should go to bed because you had a busy day the next day, and you stayed up too late and watching TV or something. Or you binge watch something, and part of you is telling you, this is not good for me, I shouldn't be doing this, I could do this other thing, I have all these things I need to be doing. But you're not being nice to yourself, you're not loving yourself. Or you're eating this cake when you're trying to lose weight. Or a million is example, and there are more obvious ones where you're like did drugs and alcohol or whatever to hurt yourself. So this is the same thing happening right now. Like, this part of you is hurting you, right? And you're like, oh. So what the way to deal with even with these things? The example I'm giving you with yourself, like, and you face yourself, and you look at your demons, and you're like, damn, I cannot stop watching this show right now, even though I know I should go to bed. Or, damn, I know I shouldn't eat this cookie, but I cannot stop myself. And you have to make a choice, have a conversation with yourself, make a new commitment, get on some exercise, get on a diet, get something, get support, call your buddy, find a like whatever, you can find other ways to do it. But you have to be gentle and loving and curious with yourself of what's happening, why are you doing this, and what do you need to stop doing this. The same thing, if this part of yourself is, according to you, is being mean or an asshole or a dick or whatever colorful words you like to use to describe them, know that you're describing yourself. You're describing that part of yourself, and you could get curious, like, oh, I'm being a dick to myself. Why would I do that? Oh, I'm sorry. Or the other thing is, they're telling you that you're being a dick to them. Why would you be a dick to the part of yourself? Like, oh wait, what? I'm being a dick to you. So one very practical advice I can give you, that it's extremely, extremely simple, yet most people have a very hard time with it. I had a hard time with it. And that is, don't ever complain about your partner. Just stop it. Don't complain to them, to your friends. Don't complain about your partner to your partner. Don't complain about your partner to your friends. Don't complain about your partner to yourself in your head, because you're complaining about yourself. And maybe you're used to beating yourself and thinking you're not good enough and all that. That's where it all starts. So in order to transform a relationship, is first step, you have to learn to love yourself. What is loving yourself would mean? Just stop talking shit about yourself to yourself. Stop beating yourself down. Start showing up. It's very simple. It's not some like rocket science, loving yourself. Be in integrity with yourself, with your word. Be gentle with yourself, accept yourself, love your, like, all those things. You wanted to work out today, it didn't work out today. Can you be loving with yourself? It is what it is. Like, oh, it's okay. I love you. We'll do it tomorrow. And we all fall off the horse. The horse being life, or whatever analogy you want to use for the horse, but we all fall off the horse and we all fail. It's never a failure it's only a failure when you fell down and you refuse to get up. But as long as you keep getting up, you haven't fallen. You're just stumbling along the way. So when you fall, which we all fall, are you gonna choose that time to take that time to beat yourself up? That's the question. So if you're not gonna take the time, or you're gonna be gentle with yourself, curious with yourself, recommit, support yourself, appreciate yourself, know that your wins can stack up, and stack up your wins, don't stack up your failures. I mean, we can talk about loving yourself, but the same way you treat yourself is the same way you treat your partner. So if you're not treating your partner nice, it's because you're not treating yourself nice. So the moment you start becoming, and it's what I'm finding out, that you could start either direction. You could choose to absolutely love your partner, and that will teach you to love yourself, because they're gonna see all their places where you shouldn't love them, and all the places you want to complain. And you could choose to be loving with them in those places. That will teach you to do the same for yourself. Or you can start doing the same for yourself, and then it will become easy to do it for your partner. So you alone can transform this relationship. If you choose, we have this ability, this I'm convinced of, is that we can give the experience to somebody else, of them being loved. I've never seen someone just pouring love towards someone unconditionally with all their heart, and the other person confusing that for that this person is trying to hurt them or kill them or something. I've never seen that happen. And we're so intuitive humans. Like we're very not intuitive, but what's the word? There's a better word. We're so attuned. We're way more attuned than we give ourselves. We have this resonance and frequency. If someone is in a frequency of love and acceptance and appreciation, we can pick up on that resonance. We might be stuck in a resonance of anger, resentment, disappointment, all these feelings, and they might be, so we might miss each other, right? And I'll tell you, a lot of people think, that I'm letting them get away with murder, they're just entitled, and I'm just, enabling them, and so forth and so on. That's another trap people fall into. If you truly love them and they're not ready to receive your love, they're not ready to meet you at that vibration, two things happen. Either they meet you or they fall off to the side. That's that. I know that may be hard to hear. You might be like, well, I don't want them to fall to the wayside. Well, if they're not, if you're ready to resonate in the resonance of love, and they're not ready to resonate with you, and they're gonna try to keep pulling you down, either you have to stay here and they could choose to meet you, or you have to lower yourself. And if you keep staying here long enough, again, they'll be like, okay, I'm out. I'm not, that's too much. I'm not ready for that yet. I haven't suffered enough yet. Usually people need to suffer more to be willing to get up here, if you're truly being up here. But it's tricky because you could trick yourself to think that you're up here, but when you're not. And usually the mirror in front of you will show you that. So yeah, that's a short explanation of what I mean. So as something practical, I want to leave you with two things. One is stop complaining about your partner. Stop complaining about anything in life, period. But let's start with your person. You decide to share a bed with this person. You go to bed with this person every day or often enough, yet you're complaining about them. So if you cannot stop complaining about the person that you decide to weave your life as one with, then God help you stopping to complain about anything and everyone else. So that's the first practical advice. The second, I want you to just meditate on this idea. Start that question, let's put this in your head. Allow this to penetrate a little deeper. Just the concept, explore the concept. Ask yourself this question: could I alone transform my relationship? Is that just start mulling over that question, mulling over that. Just the inquiry. Just live inside of that inquiry. And when you live inside of that inquiry alone is going to start transforming your relationship in you. Just start exploring that, questioning that, be with that idea, and see what happens. So 1, stop complaining. 2, be in the inquiry. Could I alone, without my partner having to do a single thing, can I alone transform this relationship? I'm going to say yes, you can, but you have to find that out for yourself. Okay, much love. Thanks for listening. If you made it this far, you know what to do. Give it a big thumbs up and follow for more. Till next time.